No, don't worry, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Your secret is safe with me. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown, where we take a look at every single board game campaign finishing up in the next week. And this week, it's going to be a little bit different. No, I'm just kidding. It's not going to be different at all. We're going to do the exact same thing and look at all the campaigns that are finishing up, some which will be good and some which we'll get through together. But first off, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons and my newest patrons, Andy and Daniel. Thank you so much for jumping on board. And if anybody happened to jump on the Room and Board Patreon in the last week, again, I'm filming this a little bit earlier, so your shout out will be coming next week. I know I can count on you supporting the channel. And really, yeah, thanks. I always like to start out these episodes with thanks to my patrons, because it is directly due to your support that I am able to justify keeping on doing this in episode 105, 106. But seriously, your support is why this series exists. And so thanks to everybody for being here. And to those of you who have supported in the past or will support in the future, I know, times change, money fluctuates, whatever. I'm still incredibly appreciative of this incredible community that we have. And I want to give you all a little kiss. So with that out of the way, just a little smooch. Sorry, Artie. Those are for the people, not you. That out of the way, let's check out this week. Starting off with one that I'm excited to look at. This is Aethermon Collect. It's Pokemon. I mean, it's Pokemon. They had contacted me. They'd said if I wanted to check it out, they'd send a thing over, and I said, no, I hate Pokemans. And no, I just didn't have the time to do it, but I said I would cover it in this Crowdfunding Countdown, and I thought it looked kind of cool. And if my schedule was a little bit less hectic, I might have gotten it. So let's check it out and see if I dodged a bullet or if I'm going to regret not looking at it already. I don't know. I don't know about this one. Basically, there isn't a good picture of it, so we'll use their anime version. Basically, you're going to have a grid of cards. You move this token. You play competitive cooperatively, either or. In the cooperative, you're just all trying to help each other. In the competitive, you're not trying to help each other. I think I'm more inclined for competitive play. In this, cooperative feels like, who cares, honestly? So you've got 48 total cards. You play with 24, so you're mixing and matching. Who cares? On your turn, you move and you collect a card, and it's set collection. Each Aethermon or Ooga Boogamon has a family. This is basically what they evolve into. If you collect everything in that family, it's worth double the points. And so you're going to move, collect a card, then your opponent's going to move and collect a card. And you try to help each other in a cooperative game, and you try to hinder each other in a competitive game. Rulebook is here. Very small text, but it says you can read the full rules there. Oh yeah, there are also these artifacts, which are one-time uses that you can draft at the beginning, which feels interesting to me. And I'm curious because in the video it said, oh, you can't take a set that somebody's already started, and that just feels like a horrible thing if it's competitive. Okay, so this is a special rule. You cannot collect an Aethermon if another player has an Aethermon, but that's specifically to the cooperative. That's good. I don't know. This kind of reminds me of Veluspa, which I didn't really enjoy. I guess it could be okay, but it's all going to be based upon how much it is. Yeah, 30 Australian, 26 Canadian, 20 US-ish. That's not bad. And then what's shipping? I'd want it to be 15, honestly. It's just 48 cards, right? If you're in South Korea, Thailand, or Vietnam, well, that's some good shipping. 5 US shipping to Canada, so, 31 bucks. Good shipping, actually, because it's just going to be a small little deck of cards. You can see it's a little bit more for the Deluxe Pledge, because the Deluxe Pledge gets you a neoprene mat, a player trackle, and some pins. Like, who cares, really? I would not go for the Deluxe Pledge. I do also like that there's a print and play, which is nice. You can just print these out yourself. That would be the way I would want to consume this content. I think it looks okay. I think leading with the cooperative is a bad choice on the campaign page because that seems very boring to me, and I would never want to play that game. I could contemplate playing it in a competitive mode, though. And specifically, probably a 2-player would be the best, because 3-player, you can't really think ahead, and you're kind of just... You can't really stop people, right? You want to hate draft the different sets and stop people from making their perfect sets. And so this feels like just a 2-player game to me, which you wouldn't want to play with 3 and 4. But hey, that sounds interesting to you, just a light, quick game. I feel like a game would take 5 minutes tops, right? Like, that's a potential draw for this. Check it out. That finishes Wednesday the 30th at 4 a.m. if you're interested. Moving along to the Spike Feeders Cereal, a cereal-themed gaming Kickstarter. I don't know if there's a game here or what. Just kidding. This is nonsense. You can get some dice and a mat for your game. So I guess if you wanted a playmat that had this illustration on it, you could pay $50. Shipping's included in that, but it's still $50. Okay, we're moving on to another thing that I almost cut. I probably should have cut Spike Feeders, but this one I think I can mention because it kind of reminds me a little bit of Don't Get Got. I was looking at it a little bit earlier. It says, I think you got caught. So pretty close. It says an expansion to life. You can play it while playing board games or eating out or watching TV. And basically everybody gets a card, and every card has a number on it. And you have to look at your card and declare what card you have without anybody noticing what you did. And it says, why shouldn't you just take some cards? Well, you'll gain access to a private web page for additional information, rules, and future variations. So, who really cares? You can play this with any set of cards, and I think that's what you want to do if you want to make sure that you take attention away from that social gathering and really make sure that you are only half paying attention to what your friends are saying the entire time. Well, then, hey, you can get more plus. Let's move on quickly. Again, just quickly to cover. I didn't cut it because I figure it's worth mentioning, but I don't think it really is. This is Rize Memory Challenge. You know how you can play Rize Memory Challenge? You can get a deck of Uno cards and then memorize what they are and put them face down and play it that way. That's pretty much what this is. You're memorizing what you have, you put them face down, and then you try to remember how to play them, and you can get more cards if you want. And you can pay $24 US for that, plus shipping if you're interested. Clearly too expensive for what it is, but sure, a decent first go. If you wanted to add memory, in fact, you can play this like More Plus, in which case you can play this with any game where you just have to, or any game that has cards where you have to remember what cards they are in order to play them. That's an easy twist to have the same experience without spending that cost. So let's keep going to mushrooms, magic, and more. This is the sort of stuff we got this week, but there are a few that I'm excited coming up, and that might be okay. Fast-paced, fun, and easy-to-play card game featuring mind-bending and immersive border-to-border art. Let's see what this one's all about. All right, well, this is another game that I'm personally not that interested in, but I'm going to talk about because, one, the art looks really fun, and that's what it's got going for it. If you like Unstable Unicorns, it's a very similar idea that you're trying to get 5 mushrooms. You just want to get 5 mushrooms, magical or common, it doesn't matter. Some might say it does matter, but I swear it doesn't matter. I remember that night under the stars where I slurped down those button mushrooms, and my friends had a different variety, and I'd had just as lovely a time. Thank you very much. I even got a laugh from Renee on that one. That stayed in the final cut. I'm very happy that I got that feedback because I didn't think it was that funny. And then now Renee has told me that I can stay with her one more day. But yeah, buy the game, enjoy the art, collect mushrooms, beat your friends in that order. How much is it? A 4-player game for $25, 34 Canadian plus shipping. Like, it's going to be $50 Canadian to do this. Yeah, $15 shipping. No. Even more, I just think there are so much more you can get for that amount of money at your local store than this. The art is definitely very exciting. For sure, I really love the art style. I think those are wonderfully quirky. I love the colors, so maybe that's a good enough reason. I don't know. What I do know is that it finishes on August 31st at 3 p.m. if you are interested. Let's move along to some other food-related game. It's Crumbs, the sandwich filler game. Stack ingredients to make sandwiches effectively and satisfy your customers before your actions run out in this solo co-op micro game. There's no video here, but we're still going to check it out. Only £12, $15 or €14. Yes, I want to see that $15 price point and not the 25. That's great. And I'm not just saying that because I know that the designer watches this channel and I have to be nice. Cupid Compact, challenging solo co-op microgame for 1 to 2 players. Variable setup, quick play time, 10 to 20 minutes, and satisfying gameplay. It'll leave you hungry for more. Read the rulebook right after the how to play. I do like that. A round lasts for 5 actions or until all players have served a sandwich. You can take one of 3 actions. Your actions are assemble, restock, and toast. Toast, 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 toast. This is confusing, and it's a very small game. Serve a sandwich to reset your actions and receive a bonus restock action before beginning the next round. Oh, these are different sandwiches. Okay, that's what I didn't see in this example. They all want different sandwiches. The sandwiches seem a lot smaller. That makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so you're making as many sandwiches as possible. I feel like this feels like a better solo game than a cooperative one. You just want to play this with one player. But yeah, you can take ingredients and try to fill your sandwiches. You can restock the ingredients. You only have a limited amount of ingredients, so whatever you use in a sandwich is probably going to go back into the pantry, etc. And so you got to cycle those ingredients. And then finally, you can toast it if they want it toasted. That'll be on their order as well. So it's another different thing to complete the order, basically. Fillings don't need to match positions displayed in the order either, which is a bit of a different mind shift, I guess. And only the top bread must match the bread shown on the order. So it doesn't matter what the bottom bread is because they can't see it. You're passing them a sandwich. They're like, yeah, I'd love that on rye bread. You're like, yeah, look, it's on rye bread on the top. Underneath is just a giant baguette. And they're like, well, clearly there's a full baguette under this sandwich. And like, no, you said right. Look, just look from the top down. Look from the top down. They see the baguette poking out. Doesn't enjoy your rye bread sandwich. Makes complete sense if you think of it that way. Yep, and then you place the used ingredients in the pantry, and then you start over. And when you only have one incomplete order left, so out of the 2, you can reveal the next card of the orders and complete that. Yeah, I like how the backs kind of create your order cards. That seems kind of neat. I think as far as solo games go, this feels very similar to like a Button Shy offering as well. So if you like anything in the Button Shy area, you can check it out. It's £12, $21 Canadian. So £5 to get to the UK, £12 to get to Canada. So doubles it, right? It's £42 for a small solo game. I think you can get Button Shy to your door cheaper, but I don't see much wrong with it. I don't really go in for these small solo card games myself, but I do go in for sandwiches. So, 50. Yeah, check it out if you want. That finishes Thursday, August 31st at 5 p.m. Moving along to something I'm thrilled has funded. This is also one that they reached out to me and I said, no, I'm not interested in providing any coverage to anyone. This is Ascendancy, the ultimate 4X fantasy meets worker placement board game experience. Lots of bright colors, looks very fantasy, which is most what anybody needs to hit the back button on Kickstarter. So let's actually check this one out and see how it is. Yeah, great video. A never before seen worker placement 4X. All that means is that your 4Xs are just sitting off to the side, poking fun at you as you try to play a nice little game. And also the other 4Xs, exterminate, exploit, expand, Excelsior, you just use a worker placement to activate them. So if I want to expand, but you've already covered all the expansion spots, then I can't do it. And I got to do something else. It did say that it had something in there which I really liked in Holotype in terms of stronger workers can kick little workers out of there, which I quite enjoy. And this small map kind of reminds me a little bit of Vindication. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. It's giving me Vindication vibes meets Dwellings of Eldervale vibes, but just with the color scheme, honestly, and the worker placement combo, whatever, meets upgrading yourself with a splish sploosh. I definitely read that as a splish sploosh and not split shot and shoot. So that tells you where my head is right now. And just the asymmetrical factions or the asymmetrical clans or people that get to move up. I hate this though. I really dislike when a game is like, hey, do what you want. It's like, yeah, okay, but how well does the game play? Like, what's the best that the game plays at? And it's like it plays incredible at any capacity. Co-op, solo, free for all, fully co-op adventure, doesn't matter. Whatever you want, we're that. Whatever you like, we like, and whatever you don't like, we don't like. That's not ever going to be the case. You're going to play it one way or the other. And so I just kind of wish it would tell you which is the best way and not invite you in for a competitive experience when the co-op one is better, right? Or vice versa, which I think I think these games do nowadays because they know they can get more people to buy it if they add in these modes. Progression Obsession, upgrade everything and everyone. Fully guided tutorial teaches you the rules as you need to know them, skip the instructions, and find the fun faster. That's cool. Core Pledge, all core stretch goals, and then you can just get minis, which you really don't need. Also, think about the size of the board, right? Think about how much you're moving the minis around. You're not going to need minis in this one. But people love minis, so that's why they exist. I do like the commitment to storage, though, and the different custom meeples. Oh, and acrylic standees, too, right? You don't need the minis. Okay, but where's the rulebook? I think I actually have the rulebook. It's on their website, maybe? Or it might be in my email, in which case I can go check that out. But it should be somewhere here. Sessions can be as short as 90 minutes. That's nice. Add up to 4 game-controlled players as teammates or rivals. Cool. Saying a lot of good stuff, but again, I want to read it. Each house is over 40 thematic text to unlock. Cool. Oh, as you kind of shift it up there. That's neat. Rock, paper, scissors type of fighting. RNG management. Mana spells that also have this rock, paper, scissors style. And then boss battles too, where the contribution of every player matters. Well, I guess that's your co-op. Or have co-op combat be totally optional. Again, this is a game that sounds really cool, but will it? Also throw in some social deduction. Okay, you're just throwing literally everything in here. Something's gonna appeal to you, right? And then here's your FOMO, buy it now, never gonna have it again. I mean, they'll have it again. If people enjoy this game and are talking about it and they can have a second run, they'll have it again. Finally, like 7/8 down the page, we have some reference manuals, which are just reference manuals. I don't even know if it's the full rule book, but there's 75 pages of references. During your first few games, there will be details you won't fully understand yet. During those times, just keep playing. That's great. It's great when you're like, what rule is this? Well, I don't know. Just keep playing. Well, and this is, they took a picture of me getting out of the shower for this one, which I hope I'm getting some royalties on that one. So they suggest that your first game is a cooperative adventure, so it feels like maybe this is a cooperative adventure game. Or maybe you just need to know how to cooperate before you can punch each other in the face. So you're going to be going and uncovering lands, and you're going to have to conquer those lands. You can also uncover the monsters in which you have to fight to conquer those lands. That's what this intro scenario is kind of telling you, all dependent upon where you place your workers. There's also a tier of workers, which also indicates which spots can go where. I also don't know why there's a dice. I think the dice beside the thing is to indicate the place that might get blocked by somebody else. I don't think you ever have to roll your dice to go to a spot. It doesn't seem like that. I think the dice symbol beside the map is just there to facilitate solo or co-op. That's what it seems like right now. Looks like everybody needs a loyalty score. That's going to determine your income as well. So points and income are tied in. And one turn is also a decade long. This is going to be a big game. It's going to take you 10 years for one turn is what I'm saying. But I really do like this scenario. It's written as like a little story. It's keeping you engaged and not just telling you to do things. It's tying a little story in to keep you engaged and to keep you learning. And I think it's doing the job really well. And kind of like Power Grid, if you have the least loyalty, you're doing the worst, you get to place first. So it balances in that way. I think that's smart. And it's through building buildings that you then get access to your people who you then can upgrade. Finally, what's combat like? You can choose your own ability. The combat abilities of the creatures are chosen randomly by dice rolling, and then you have to manage your own stamina in order to do attacks. Cool. And the creatures escalate. There's different tiers of things. A boss battle is going to occur, and then everybody fights together. Yeah, this is fun. Fun scenario book. Seems like scenario 1 gets pulled up. There's a whole page of event outcomes too if you're having special events. Yeah. All right. I want to peruse a little bit more through this reference guide. Yeah, really nicely done rulebook so far. I like the reference guide too. I think the tutorial seems like it would be pretty nice. And I like potentially how things are going to flow together. Nice job. Let's see what shipping's like. Shipping estimates to the US, core game $29, all in bundle $39, right? It's expensive, but it's going to be a big box filled with stuff, so that makes sense. So really, you're paying $130. It's going to be like $160 Canadian for this. With a delivery date of July 2024, I don't know. I think this could be pretty neat. I also think it could be one of those games where there are just so many mechanics thrown in. That's what's keeping it alive. And each individual thing may not be as exciting, but I like worker placement, right? It feels like worker placement is the core of the game. And so because of that, I'm inclined to think it looks neat. Yeah, I think it's earned its amount. Definitely is interesting in checking it out. It seems like there's some sound stuff behind it as well. I feel like always with a new person on the scene, it's it's iffy one way or the other if it's going to be good or not. And I think this one has potential. Plus, I love the investment of the storage. With a lot of this stuff, you need good storage systems, and I like to see that too. So check it out if that interests you. Focusing again on that sort of worker placement aspect of it, I think that's going to be key. And then deciding if the combat system is interesting or not to you. I don't know if the combat system is really that interesting to me, but that's why I like that you don't really need to engage with it. If you don't want to, you can just focus on building and conquering lands the old-fashioned way. Anyway, that finishes Thursday, August 31st at 5 p.m. Let's move along. That was a big one. And we got another big one coming out after this. But let's look at this one first. Small City Deluxe Edition, Spring and Summer expansions. 2 new expansions for Small City Deluxe, with more than 25 new expansions for a level of simulation probably never reached. I remember Small City. I remember thinking it looked kind of interesting, and I remember thinking it was too expensive for what it was. For one expansion, it's going to cost you $44. 2 expansions is $84, and then if you want everything, it's $174. I do love that you can play it on Tabletopia, though. What's new? Okay, let's see what's new, and then let's give a brief covering of what Small City Deluxe is about, although it should be on the Crowdfunding Countdown master list. It is. It was back in March 28th, 2022, when we covered that one. Same week as Solar 175. So you can go back, go search that. Watch old Chris explain, actually, that I just explained it. Well, I've listened to old Chris so that I don't have to read this rulebook, so I can remember what I liked about it. What I do like about it, from what old, or I guess young Chris, that's a paradox, was saying, is that to choose your action, you choose your action, and then the other actions that people can take are directly on either side. There's going to be kind of a row of actions. That seems interesting. And then it's kind of like Suburbia Light, where you're putting in different colored buildings to go up on different tracks, then you have to manage your pollution. So in this one, you have to collect your residences with factories and road tiles, supply water to your buildings, or you don't get votes during the last rounds. Yeah. Riots can happen in your city. Leisure buildings also arrive in your city. Yeah. With too much leisure time on your hands, you're going to cause those riots. That's what it's saying. And then finally, specialized citizens. Policemen will help secure your city. Teachers will increase the influence area of your school and university. Workers will double the production of your factories, but also pollution. So just doubling the positives and the negatives. That seems okay. And then some new terrain and some real cities can be mixed in. I read the comments on several forums and it looked like the promise cards were not clear enough. I decided to add an index of all promise cards. Could have been a stretch goal, but I'm offering this as a special sheet. Yeah, you know those things that people are confused about? Instead of making it a stretch goal, which I could have done, I'm going to do what everybody should do if your game is unclear and make it clear for people. That's just what you should do. That's just what you should do. Again, I think this game looks cool, and it's something that I think I would enjoy playing, but I also just enjoy playing Suburbia, and I think you'd get the same itch from playing Suburbia personally. And especially not paying $174, or it was $69 last time for the game. Shipping is $25 to Canada. And the base game is still $69. So if you wanted the base game, you could probably get it. Just feels a bit expensive for what it is, and I'd rather play Suburbia because I know I like Suburbia, but this still looks good. It definitely looks sound. Definitely am thrilled that the expansions have funded. If you're just adding more variability into it, that's cool. So check this out if you want. Again, that finishes Thursday, August 31st at 6:59 p.m. A big day, August 31st. As we continue this big day for me, and we go to Mistwind, which I've seen publicized around a little bit in various channels. Navigate through the Mistwind Islands while building outposts, connecting networks, and delivering cargo with flying transport whales. Okay, let's get our whales to do this pick up and deliver game from the designers of Sagrada. $95 US, the same price as Ascendancy, basically, or the early bird, which you can't get anymore. It's all gone. which was 82 US. And the most important thing that, I don't know, at least 100 backers are backing for is the fact that you get little boats on whales. I do love a good insert visualization with individual trays for every person. How to play. Here we go. So you play a disc. I assume that blocks it for other people. Then you move your transports around, which will either cost you money or it won't. Then you load and unload, obviously bringing your pickups and delivers to the place where they need to go. And then you can get some achievements or network cards or nation networks. Rulebook preview. Yeah, give it to me. A third down the, almost halfway down the page. Only 8 pages of rules though. Yeah, love that. Oh, this is cool too, because if you take a 1 action, you probably can't take the other 1 action. That's very, like Inventions does that. The Vital Lacerda one that was just on here does that. That's kind of neat. And then you can also use your other discs for just character cards for kind of special abilities. And then the port cards, it can carry more than 1 space, so the port cards can do other things. Okay, this is also important to note. This is just a great flag in terms of a rulebook. If a rulebook ever has like 2-player rules, that means it's not optimal for 2 players. Just as a general rule of thumb, there are going to be things that break that and make it optimal. But I think generally it feels like it won't be optimal. Especially if it's like, hey, do a dummy thing. Although, to be fair, Solkin has that, and I think it works really well at 2 players, so maybe I'm lying to you. Wingspan doesn't have optional 2-player rules. It's the same rules, right? If there's a mode that's like, okay, to play with 2 players, you need to do this and this and this to adjust, like the more adjustments you have to make, the further I think you go from the original vision and intention. That's just kind of how I look at it. But yeah, very simple. You place your worker and then you move around the board, and the workers that you place give you additional stuff. Over here is giving you resources to help you build outposts. You want to chain different networks together that you can take the cards, and you want to pick up demand tokens and demand resources and get them to the places before your opponents. Yeah, it seems definitely interesting. I just don't know if I want to pay $128 Canadian plus shipping or like a pick up and deliver game. Shipping to the US for the game is $20, 28 to Canada, right? Like, again, we're in that 160 zone. If I had to pick between Ascendancy and Mistwind, I probably would pick Ascendancy just because there are so many more things going on, and there's a chance that I'll like some of them. I do like the variability in terms of like the worker placement aspect. That seems fun to me. For this one, definitely don't think it's a bad game, but I think it's just a bit too expensive for what it is, for my personal taste. But if you're interested in that, that finishes Friday, September 1st at 1 a.m. Let's move along to something I am definitely not excited to cover, and that, of course, is Bear Mountain Camping Adventure, a race to the top. Embark on a remarkable journey in Bear Mountain Camping Adventure, the ultimate camping board game for 1 to 4 explorers. Well, it seems a bit triggering to me. Someone whose entire family was kidnapped by bears, and you just got to put it right in the title. You know what I think about Bear Mountain? Bear Mountain can crumble under its own weight. Bear Mountain can erode under its own cruelty. Bear Mountain is the pizza burn on the roof of the world's mountains. But we'll check it out. This is also one where some of my patrons were saying in the Discord that before the campaign even started, they were like, hey, give us $1. Give us $1 before it starts. And they're like, why? It's like, just do it. Give us $1 so you get the extra special pricing and extra special exclusives. And the promise was that there would be a little mini expansion that isn't available via Kickstarter. And I don't know if they've addressed that. I'm going to look into the FAQs, but that just feels like, why? Why are you dual layering the FOMO? It just seems stupid. Just give people the game. That and the fact that they're leading with the bears makes me highly unfavorable towards this title, but let's see if the board game itself changes my mind. I'm intrigued, not intrigued enough, but I'm intrigued. So here we go. The Mini Pets expansion you can buy now for $10 to $15, but if you already paid the $1, it will be included for free in your game. That's just stupid. Like, one, they didn't purchase the game beforehand, so you don't have that influx of funds, which I assume that's what it's for. It just feels like exclusivity for the sake of exclusivity for the sake of creating this scarcity, for the sake of then saying, it's okay. You know what? Our VIPs graciously allowed you to have some game components, so we're going to let you do it for the low, low price of $15, 10 to 15 something. We haven't figured it out. We figured we'd announce this before we even figured out the price too, because we were going to give it for free, and then we realized we could make a whole bunch of money off of you suckers, especially since our campaign is going well. So yeah, it's going to be 10 to 15. What do you want to pay for it? 15? Will you pay 15? It's going to be 15. So that's pretty stupid. But what do you expect about a game created by bears? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say it. Please. That's one family member down. Anyway, you have to get to the middle of the board. You have to visit each campsite in each area on the map and collect all the different outdoor activities. So it's kind of a big checklist of efficiency and then getting to the middle. And then wherever you go, it allows you to draw cards that you're going to be putting into your deck. And these are nighttime cards and daytime cards, things that you can do and will give you abilities. Dual deck building. Oh yeah, you also get to have these random tiles which may turn up a bear and which will scare you away from your campsite to somewhere else. I just want to know what this bottom text means, which they haven't explained to me yet. So you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then camp at Bear Mountain. This is also weird because once you pay the tokens on one spot, you then don't have to pay anymore, which I guess makes sense, but also gives you a bunch of different targets at which to hit, which makes the deck building feel maybe less exciting and less useful. Rules, halfway down the page. Here we go. Do we really need to know how to randomize the tiles? Is that something that we need to explain in a rulebook? I don't know. I guess if we did, now you know that you mix it up and then you get someone else to mix it up. Oof, I'm glad we explained that for everybody to know. You know what? I'm fairly certain a bear wrote this entire rulebook, and this just confirms it. They really like to pretend that they're human, waving and using their big long tongues to eat treats, looking like they're just rumpled up humans in a sweater. Oh, the cost is the bottom. You can add to your deck for that, and it gives you that. That makes sense. Okay, so that's just how you level up your deck and make it filled with better things. Keeping in mind that if you gain tokens in a turn, you can only store one, and then you have to spend the other. So that encourages you also to purchase more cards. Okay, that's it. Otherwise, it's a very standard deck builder of playing cards and then having to complete objectives in an order. That's all it really is. There's just a number of different objectives that are out there on the board that you can then complete. And then wherever you land, that shows you what you are going to draw, what your next hand is going to be comprised of, if it's comprised of more of your daytime activities or your nighttime activities. For me, I would hope that it would be comprised of more of nighttime activities, but that's just because I know bears can't see in the dark. It's true. So if you're walking in the forest at night, you're safe. Completely safe. Completely safe from bear attacks. You'll be fine. At least I read that on Wikipedia, and I don't think it was edited by any creature. I don't quite see why this has raised so much money. It just seems like, it doesn't seem bad, but it just seems fine to me. Oh, this is probably why. $39. Retail edition VIP special. Oh, there's only 10 left of 1010. It says same as retail edition VIP special. Take advantage of the VIP if available. So there are 22 backers here who should be checking their copy to get this $39. $39, I could see. 53 Canadian plus shipping. Yeah, that feels reasonable for the style of game. Kickstarter retail edition, 55, 75. No, not interested whatsoever. I see why it's raised so much though. And then shipping is 13 to 31. That's a big range. $13 Canadian? That would be great. If it was, if it was 39, if you got the VIP and you got this lower shipping tier, like 15 to 19, sure, in the US, that'd be great. If you're paying the highest one plus 31 shipping, like that's over $100 Canadian. And I do not see there being a reason to ever do this. It's just a very basic deck builder, with the conceit being that it's nice art and you get to be building 2 decks at once, and you don't really get to choose what cards you draw from until you move on to the next tier. And it's a bit of a race too, so I imagine it's not going to be that long of a game. Seems completely fine, but yeah, this VIP edition is where it's at. If you should wait and refresh until somebody drops out to get it if you're interested. The Kickstarter special, nah. And the Deluxe expansions, like the Deluxe that gives you the expansion, I don't think so. It's a weird pricing structure too, and that initial $1 kind of throws me off, but you know what? Seems like it'll be fine, but I think it's just going to be fine, honestly. But if you're interested in that, check it out. That's September 1st at 3:59 a.m. Let's move forward. Those were some of our bigger ones. Let's see if we can blaze through these next ones. Certainly we're going to blaze through this. Tiny Laser Heist. A hilariously awkward 3D heist game. Cooperate with tiny hands to steal jewels. Seems pretty self-explanatory. Don't hit the lasers. I mean, it doesn't matter what these cards are, what the negotiation aspect is. They're saying it plays a big role. It doesn't. You're just choosing your team to pull off this heist where you have to pull these little padlocks off of the diamonds that are down there without hitting lasers. That's the whole thing. And you know what? That's a great, fun, stupid little game. $50, free shipping in the US, not free to Canada. And you get to push these little tiny hands together and try not to hit the lasers. And then sure, you get power-up cards, who cares? Very funny. Shipping in Canada is $21, so to get this, it would be 71 US or like almost 100 Canadian, and that's not something I'm interested in, but I like it, and I think it's a funny idea. So if this interests you, check it out for sure. That finishes Saturday, September 2nd at 12:59 a.m. Next up, we have Shadowrun Takedown. This is in the same universe as Shadowrun Crossfire, I imagine, which is a deck building game. I think this is a 2-player head-to-head card game, so let's see if I'm right. I was wrong. There is a head-to-head mode. I think that's what tipped me off thinking it was head-to-head, but it's really 2 heists going on. The first team to complete the heist would win, or you play it as a cooperative sort of campaign. There's 8 missions, 60 minutes a mission. Cool, this is great. Also, no rulebook, no shipping information. Don't know why you would ever get it then. Don't know why. It seems fun-ish. There's going to be a mastermind who I think gets to set up the map and knows what the map is and can kind of guide people through it. And then you have 90 to 20 seconds in your player phase before enemies react. That seems cool to me too. But still, I want more information, and I don't want to spend $70 or $110 if it turns out the shipping is $40. Just why? Just why? No reason not to include that information, and so because of that, that's all you're going to hear about it from me. That finishes September 2nd at 11:28 a.m. Moving along, just quickly, this one is just quickly. This is a game called I Felt. It's something that has never happened to me, speaking as someone who has once been referred to as Voldemort. One guess as to who called me that once upon a time, because because I have no emotions, and my soul has been split into 7 wonders. If you see any copies of 7 Wonders, please give me a call. I am looking for pieces of my soul back. This is Dixit with faces. In case you also don't know how to feel or react to people's emotions, well, this will teach you. You look at these cardboard, cartoonish faces, and you say, when do I feel this way? When can I shape my emotions into a mask like this to reflect what I'm seeing around the room? Then you tell a true story about yourself that relates to the feeling, and then they poke at one of your faces over and over again until you say, well, no, that was not my reaction. It was this reaction. And it's also cooperative for some reason, which it shouldn't be. It should be like Dixit. And that should be what the scoring is. $15 to pick up at Spiel 2023? Jeez. Or you can get $36. Or it's $36 plus the shipping fee. I don't know what $36 that is, because it's actually $23 down there. Odd. Very odd. So 23 Canadian, so probably like 15 US. Or maybe 17 US, because it's a little bit cheaper. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it, because it seems boring. So let's move on to Cyber City and Chick Maze, which is different from Cyber Chick and City Maze, and also different from Chick Phil Maze. Cyber City and Chick Maze are roll and write maze games. Oh, it's this stuff again. No, I don't think so. They're maze games, so they're not really roll and writes the way like you and I might be interested in roll and writes, but it's a roll and write where you just draw through a maze. So if you like mazes, you can look at that, I guess, but I'm not going to look at it. Moving along quickly to, just quickly to OFPG's Kickstarter campaign. If you're a fan of Our Family Plays Games, their Kickstarter channel. Renee's chirping me at my usage of Just Quickly and says I should make a shirt that says Just Quickly on it. Apparently, I've been saying it more than too much shipping, and I have to rectify that right now. But where you're not going to get too much shipping is in this, because I think it's just donating stuff to them. Oh, you might get too much shipping. It depends how much shipping the promo packs are, which I don't think they tell you here. Oh, they do tell you what some stretch goals will be. Like one where they'll play a game with Eric Lang. Doesn't seem like they'll film it, but they'll play it. So there you go. Oh no, shipping costs. Great. Refer to the pledge manager after it closes. I mean, they're going to do it through USPS, UPS, and FedEx. But again, sorry, OFPG, I got to be as harsh on you as I am with literally every campaign and say you could have estimated that beforehand, and it's just unacceptable that you didn't. But if you want some promo packs of stuff where they're in them, check it out. I worked with them through WSBG Vegas, and they also said that they wanted me on their show. But Mick and Starla, let's do it. Get me on one of your live streams and we'll hang out. They're nice people. I enjoyed playing Codenames with them on Codenames Live, on Nerd Incorrect's Twitch. So yeah, I always like to amplify people on YouTube who are trying to raise money, because it makes me seem so selfless with my 153 patrons, which all of whom I love you all. But anyway, that's Tuesday, September 5th at 12:01 p.m. And just quickly, I wanted to point this one out. If you like Paperback, but you want to do it in French, well, it looks like this is the French version of Paperback, in which there's going to be a different breakdown of letters. You'll see a beautiful QU, which would certainly scare a lot of English speakers away, but is very prevalent in French. So you can get Paperback in French pour $37. Si je parle français, Renee, elle ne peut pas parler en français, mais moi je parle français. She didn't hear me. Or maybe she just couldn't understand me. She hates speaking French around me, but she claims to be better at it than I am. Anyway, I thought that was cool. I thought that was interesting for a word game to shift itself and to make sure that there is adequate distribution for a lot of different languages. And I've heard good things about Paperback, and I want to try it. So yeah, that finishes September 5th at 1:01 p.m. And finally, our last game of the week is Perch, which I'm excited to look at. Keep your feathered friends close and your enemies closer in Perch, a battle of the birds for 2 to 5 players. This is from Inside Up Games, who are located kind of in Toronto. I mean, it says Thunder Bay, Canada, but I've seen them in Toronto occasionally. So that's what makes me excited, and Earth was such a hit that I hope they have another one at some point in time. Cool. Seems like a nice, simple little area control game. That was a great video that I feel like I know everything that I need to know, but I'll check out the rulebook as long as I have it. 49 Canadian, 37 US. That feels like a good price for it, too. Maybe I wanted it a little cheaper. Maybe I did, because it seems so simple. Basically, there's going to be a number of locations, and you're fighting for area control in these locations. The exciting part here, and the important part, is that sometimes the most points are garnered by whoever's in second in that spot, or whoever's in third in that spot. And so that seems like a really interesting decision space in terms of what do you put out there. I'll just put one over there. But then there are also these different abilities that can shift and push you out of different nests and send you into other ones. And so being able to manipulate those to your advantage and shove an opponent's 2 birds to hit 2 birds with 1 stone, to hit 2 locations with 1 move, throwing them over on into another area, which would get you the max points in both, that the excitement that we crave here in the board gaming industry. Of course, you can always send them to the fountain, where you get points. This is going to be a cutthroat game for sure. You're going to want to put those little bird houses on your birds right quick, but then somebody might be able to play more birds on them because you know you can't adjust them. Shared bag building. Okay, now I do need to read the rule book. Oh, see, love it. This is what it's all about. If you click anywhere here on what's in the box, it takes you to a work in progress rule book. Oh, Inside Up Games. These are the sorts of nighttime activities that I've been looking for. I'm filming this in the dead of night, to be clear. 140 bird miniatures. Oh, yeah, give me the rule book. Cool. This is a different setup for the different number of people. Love that. With different basic locations, special locations, and creature location tiles. Okay, cool. And then there's going to be nests here as well. Sometimes there are a number of nests depending on the location. And if you go to that place, I assume you can claim those nests and they do something for you. Again, 2-player games. This is not going to be a good 2-player game, right? If it depends on that tense area control, 3 players minimum. Everybody gets a different location though. Everybody gets different objective cards as well, which is always fun. I like objectives. Oh, cool. You don't just get to place birds of your own color. You always get to place 2 birds of your own color, but you're also drawing 2 from the migration bag, and they may be yours and they may be different than yours. And that's how you can force other players' colors into places that they don't want to be. Cool. Great. That's fun. Awesome. Anyone can also put birdhouses in rounds 4 and 5, and that locks that stack. It also counts as 1 extra bird. So you may want to do it on somebody else's house if you've got them beat, but you may also want to save that for your own house because it gets you the extra points, or the extra presents rather. And then in turn order, each player sends 1 of their recruited birds to any location and may execute 1 bonus action. Do you want to see bonus actions? Oh, the bonus actions are activating a woodland creature, build a birdhouse, and zap a bird. I'm wondering about this at round start though. Is it anybody who's there? Oh, and ties cancel it out. So it's not like a friendly tie. It's not like an unfriendly tie. It's a supremely unfriendly tie in which you get nothing, which is also very exciting. Cool. Nice. Okay, here we go. Trigger locations that activate during upkeep. Some locations will activate during the upkeep. Birds are moved to fountain or plaza. Players gain control of a creature. Okay. Well, at round begin. Will allow players to place more than 1 bird into the migration bag at round start. That's the only thing that I'm a bit unclear on. Anyway, it's either one person gets to do the action or multiple people get to do the action, but it still incentivizes going to specific places, which I also like. It adds to the decision space. Still pretty good. I don't know what nests do. Here, this nest counts as +1, but I don't know if nests do specific things in other areas. That's a bit confusing to me, but also like things I would like to know. Just want to know how to play your game, and I want to know the things that I want to know, you know? You know? Yeah, so watching through a couple videos, I think it is only the person who's in the lead who gets to do the thing, which is also potentially interesting on the places where you don't want to be winning it. So do I choose to get the points or do I choose to get the ability? Shipping, $12 to the USA and to Canada. So that's $49 total US to get to your door, 66 Canadian. I don't know if I want to pay 66 for this. The stretch goals, I mean, they don't seem that exciting. You just get a few more objective cards. I guess the creatures might be interesting, but you can always get them separately. This feels like a retail purchase to me. As much as I'd like to support Inside Up Games, it feels like a retail purchase to me. I don't think I want to pay 66. I'd want to pay something like, this is like 45 Canadian? Oof. Yeah, that'd be nice. And we're close to that, right? We're close to it being 49 Canadian, so that's why I feel like it's more of a retail purchase, but still seems nice, seems elegant, and if you like mean area control games, I think this is one to look out for. Anyway, that finishes Tuesday, September 5th at 7 p.m., and that's it. That is it for the week. A good week. I think a relatively pretty good week. Nothing that stands out in a supreme way, but I do have a pick for me and a pick for you in that order, and in the order of my fingers. Yeah, 2 that I would highlight, and I think, oh, this is a weird one for me to say, but I think my pick for me is going to be Ascendancy. I think it's the one that I want to try the most. I think I am really drawn in by the amount of different things going on. I like that in games. I don't find it too overwhelming, but I also find that leads to kind of a lack of focus of the game itself. So I don't know about this one. I still don't know. But from what I've read, like, it was a really nice, engrossing tutorial. I read like 40 or 50 pages of rulebook and scenario book combined. I like the different types of meeples that you can put out. Yeah, I kind of wish I had had more time and I could have potentially taken a look at this firsthand to know firsthand. But I think it looks cool. I think the art is really striking. I'm not paying that amount of money for it. I'm just not. But I think there's enough here to make me want to delve into it a little bit more and think that it could be interesting. So this is my pick for me. And then my pick for you is going to be what we just talked about, Perch. I think still, especially if you live in the US, this could be a good purchase for you. If you like that mean area control, if you like the area control nature of Brew, I think Brew is going to be better than this because also it's cheaper, and I think it does maybe more of what you of that like meanness. Plus, you get a dice worker placement, and this is just straight area control. But I think for what this does, it seems quite nice and a reasonable price. So yeah, this one's definitely the pick for you if you're on the fence about it, or on the perch about it, or on the washing woman's wire about it. I think that one does look cool. So yeah, that's the week. That's what I'm thinking. Mistwind didn't blow me away. That was the other one that I was expecting to maybe do something for me. But with Mistwind, I really felt like that. That's how I felt. That's how it made me feel. Oh, I didn't have this on. Like that. That's how it made me feel. Anyway, let me know what you are interested, what you're backing, what you're not. I always like hanging out with you. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week. I will see you next week. And remember, if you're feeling down about any of your crowdfunding campaigns, designers out there, well, just remember that you're doing better than this. The hilarious card game for degenerates. That's effed up by ampersand good up, which has raised $1. $1 it is pledged, not $50, which says your reward for the $30 backer, and it's $50. So great campaign page over here. Really good. Just know that you're doing better than this card game. If you're ever feeling down, remember that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. My name's Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase. And you know what? I'm starting to think that that's a little effed up. Well, I'll do what I can to rectify the situation.